Hi, Trevor here, reflecting on life through music. Thank you for stopping by. Well, I trust you enjoyed my last video on comedic piano comedy legend Dudley Moore. And through his story, we looked at how we can be quite diverse in what we can do in this world, as long as we make a positive difference to it. Well, it made sense to go from there, given Dudley's a standout role of Arthur, that we go to the guy that actually sang that theme song. The story started, Christopher Jeffert was born in 1951 in San Antonio, Texas. But when he became famous, and this guy had a meteoric rise to fame, well and truly, he changed his name to Christopher Cross. Singer, songwriter, musician and composer, a pretty amazing guitarist, this guy. In fact, when Richie Blackmore was sick at a Deep Purple concert, Christopher Cross took his role. So say no more, that's how well he's respected. Christopher started with the band The Flash, and then he was signed with Warner Brothers in 1978, and since that time, the rest is history. In fact, between 1980 and 2017, there's 15 studio albums, 5 compilation albums. He's been part of 5 soundtracks, including obviously Arthur and also the Los Angeles Olympics. He had a song there, 21 singles. His first album, Christopher Cross, actually won him 5 Grammy Awards. So there we go. This guy absolutely hit the ground running. Apart from his incredible songs, will just get us to think and create just beautiful soundscapes. And we'll get onto a few of those in a minute. And that was even before that iconic song Arthur came out. The industry just really stood up and took notice. In fact, the whole of America stood up and took notice about this guy's just complex stories, his beautiful production of his songs, the wispiness and the etherealness of some of his songs, his incredible voice, and he can get up quite high. This guy has got an incredible range to his voice. He's got a beautiful resonance to it. And when you are singing your own songs, you know, it really is just a complete picture if you find success. Of course, Christopher struck to absolutely meteoric fame with the Arthur's theme in 1981. In fact, that song won him, together with Peter Allen, Carol Bayer and Burt Bacharach, what's an incredible list of songwriters right there, won an Oscar for this song, Arthur's theme. And so, you know, it goes to show that when, and everyone thought that Arthur was going to be a good movie, and so you get all of these people, including Dudley Moore, who obviously took the lead role and got nominated in that role, as we discovered last time. And you bring in Christopher Cross, who just had this way of just delivering that song in an absolutely amazing way. And he became quite famous after this song came out. This song changed his life. In fact, continued to rise the star that had already started. So you very much put this guy in pop rock, sophisticated rock almost. There's almost an element of progressiveness in what this guy does too, particularly in his production. So when we think about Christopher Cross, obviously think about Arthur's thing, the best that you can do is fall in love. When you get lost between the moon and New York City, I know it's crazy, I know it's true. When you get lost between the moon and New York City, the best that you can do is fall in love. And of course, Arthur was all about Arthur's going from a playboy to a little bit more sensible and finding Liza Minnelli, who was his co-star in that movie. I think one of the things we could probably have a look at today is songs themselves, the writing of songs, and what makes them so successful. First of all, now, and obviously in the case of Arthur's theme, they had a theme to write to. You know, they could very easily tell the story in 3 to 4 minutes about what the movie was about. But when you think about some of these lines, when you get lost between the moon and New York City, think about that line for a second. Obviously, we've got New York City, which is just that iconic 7 million resident strong city. Of course, Seinfeld was set in New York, and so was Friends. I think Sex and the City as well was in New York. Correct me if I'm wrong there. But New York is, the minute you say, and of course Frank Sinatra starts spreading the news, New York, New York. There is just something iconic about those streets. You think about Broadway, you think about the Hudson, you think about the Statue of Liberty. It's a beautiful image to actually start writing a song about. And it would be enough to just capture the imagination with New York, New York. But then they talk about the moon. And of course, the moon is this beautiful thing. Imagine it shining on the Hudson River. It's amber glow over New York. The way that it just conjures up romance in us, walking in the moonlight, all that sort of stuff. And then you've got this additional quirky thing of when you get caught between the moon and New York City. So that almost implies like, well, I'm not in New York and I'm on the moon. In essence, I'm missing out on everything. And certainly that was the case of Arthur in most of the movie. He was missing out big time. He was drunk all the time. He was hanging out with the wrong sort of girls. And at the end of the day, he was just missing out. He was caught between the moon and New York City. And it wasn't until later on in the movie where he finds the girl that the moon and New York City, because the best that you can do, right, is fall in love. Because, life without love is not worth much at all. Life needs love in it. Love is critical to our well-being, and it enables us to exist and live as human beings. So, to be caught between the moon and New York City, and then to find love and see those two things come together, is a beautiful thing. This is the magic of song lyrics such as these ones. It really captures our imagination, captures our hearts, captures our dreams even. Captures our own images of love, captures our own memories of love, that significant people that have been in our lives. And it really just gets us to come along for the ride. So, we go and see the movie because of the song. Now, all you need to do then is once you've got the amazing lyrics, you just need to then create a beautiful set of chords around that and then produce that. And of course, no money was spared for the production of this song. There's some beautiful strings and orchestra backing. And of course, you need a guy to deliver it. Now, you wouldn't put Burt Bacharach and Carol Bayer as singers quite as much. Peter Allen can sing, but even he's acknowledged that his voice is not as high as Christopher Cross's. So Christopher was just the perfect guy to deliver this song. So in lots of ways, the stars aligned with lyrics, the movie, the setting of Moon and New York City, and Christopher Cross's vocals just made this song an absolute master when it comes to songwriting, and well deserving of the Oscar for the best song that year. And the best songs really are those where the lyrics are a bit mysterious. Sometimes you think about like Krista Berg and Don't Pay the Ferryman, like that's very mysterious. Who knows what this song's actually about? Well, you think, a good song will get us to think. A good song will get us to resonate with it and to touch something deep inside of us. And this is certainly what this song did. It created an absolute, it was a legendary status in the world of music, really, this song. So, for budding songwriters out there, including myself and you, I struggle to get the mystery in my lyrics. What can we say? Every now and then you get up with it, but not as well-rounded and as beautiful as that. You can all imagine the four of them sitting around a table. Perhaps they got a bit of a brief of what the song was going to be about. They thought, well, hang on, where's it set? New York? Hey, what about the moon? Hey, what happens when you're stuck between those two things? What's the answer? Fall in love. So good on you, Peter, Carol, Burt, and Chris for writing this iconic song, and for Chris for actually delivering it so well. So let's get on to the clips. And so we do have quite a unique clip of Arthur's theme, The Best That You Can Do. Came off the Arthur soundtrack from 1981. This is a great live version with Dudley Moore. As we discovered last time, Dudley Moore plays the piano exceptionally well, classically trained and jazz trained. And so it was really good to actually see Christopher Cross singing live with the guy that started the movie. Bit of a unique experience, that one. Now, it is a 9-minute long video, but just be aware that like half of it is kind of black and not much there. So if you're wondering why it kind of stops like it does, well, who knows? But we got Arthur Steen. And then we go back to that unique original album, very much created a start for Christopher Cross, a very successful album. 5 Grammy Awards for this album, pretty amazing in 1980. We then got Sailing. Now, sailing is all about freedom, feeling the wind, the spray, just being out in the water and just being, that's where I just long to be, because that's when I really, really find myself. Well, to capture that feeling, you need an incredibly well-written song to do that. And Christopher Cross wrote a beautiful song when he thought about that for himself. Catches our imagination, this song, and as I said, it's just something really classy about the way Christopher Cross writes his songs, and this is no exception. A very successful song as well. This is a live version of that one. We then got off the Chris Cross album from 1980, Ride Like the Wind. This is a live version from 2009. So we're talking, nearly 40 years after he started. He's still got the voice, he's still got the look, he's still got the amazing guitar playing, he's still an all-round performer. He can still get up there in the clouds with his vocals. This was an amazing song by Christopher Cross. This is huge in its production, huge in the number of people that need to be on stage, and just massive with what it's trying to capture, and that is riding like the wind to get to Mexico. So the link to those 3 songs are in the description below, and I've also included my last video from Dudley Moore, so if you want to recap from him, feel free. Well, that's it for today. If this is the first time to Life Reflections Through Music, or whether you've come back for another one, welcome to everyone, and thank you very much for hanging around till the end. Well, there's another lass I gave thought to a little while ago, and I remember, when this album came out, how amazing it was and how amazing this girl's voice is. We're going to go on to Alison Moyet next time. So until then, and until next time, I'll catch you around. Bye for now.